ahead.
Okay, so we can just pick up that you said it was tough when you were coming back.
Right. So yeah, started having problems. Trying to work the VA, and it was just a red tape nightmare. They weren't prepared for us, and my DD-214, like I said, didn't show any of my combat service because I got back and there was nobody there. So on my DD-214, didn't have any of my combat action ribbon, none of my combat action service medals, none of that stuff was on there. So when I filed for my disability, I was denied for it, and I had to fight for 3 years in order to try to get help and get medication and stuff like that for PTSD problems that I was having. And through that time period, that was about 2004, I bought a house, I just had a baby. I lost my house, the economy started going down, I was working as a residential electrician, and the housing market crashed, and I went down with it. So I lost my house, I lost my car, and then we tried to decide what we're going to do with the rest of our lives. You know, my wife was from out here, we were living in Texas at the time, so we decided to come back out here. I started looking for work out here, couldn't find anything, so that kind of directed me towards looking into my GI Bill and started to get back into school to, you know, find different options for myself. So that's what kind of led me here at Chafee. But it's difficult. You know, a lot of the guys coming out now, there's the job market, there's nothing out there for them. They're coming back with a lot of mental issues, and they're trying to process everything that they've done, it's happened to them, and they're coming back to a country that's really not, you know, prepared or set up to help these veterans. I mean, you can see the jobless rates and things like that of the veterans that are out here, the homeless rates, the suicide rates that are happening, and that just goes to prove that we're not really prepared for, you know, the fraction of a percent of the people that are over there doing this combat fighting and these wars that have lasted for 10 years, you know. So it's difficult, no doubt about it.
So when you moved here from Texas, what year was that?
I moved back here in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was unemployed for about a year, just trying to gain my residency back so I could start college back. And then I waited that whole year. About 3 months prior to my residency date, I called Chafee and said, you know, this is what I'm trying to do. Will that be fine? They said, yeah. So I started coming here about 2009 and been here ever since. So.
Okay. When you came in 2009, was the Veteran Resource Center here?
No, actually, I was one of the ones that I was the one that the faculty and the staff started asking what they needed to do. I was part of the STEM program. I'm an engineering major. And when they had a STEM program here, they had a STEM counselor. And I walked into her office, and she's asking me what my ambitions were. And I started telling her, you know, I want to be an engineer and what I want to do with that degree and so on. She's like, okay, what do you want to accomplish while you're here at Chafee? And I'd been through all this stuff prior to that, you know, the dealing with VA and the automated systems, not talking to anybody, and running around the red tape and the bureaucracy that's all behind it. And I was frustrated. So I told her that that's what I wanted to do here. I wanted to try to start something that would help veterans find the benefits, where they weren't cut down through the red tape, get around the bureaucracy, have somebody that you can call. It's not an automated system that you're talking to, it's an actual person that you can talk to. Because there's nothing more frustrating than you're actually having problems, you need an answer to a question, and you can't talk to anybody. You know, you're just getting constantly, I'll call you back, or an email that never gets responded to or something like that. So I told her that we wanted to start something like this here, and she said, well, they had a veteran response team, that faculty and staff, that they were talking about starting up something like this. And I said, well, if you do, please let me know, because I'd like to be involved with it. So she passed my name over to the counseling dean at the time, and she brought me in to interview me and asked me, you know, what I envisioned as a Veteran Resource Center here. And I told her that, you know, the camaraderie element, how, you know, when you're in a unit together, you're so tight, you're so close. You know, it's beyond friendship, it's a brotherhood that you have. And then when you're out, you all separate to the winds. You know, people from all over every corner of the country. And so that support system that you have is just dismantled. So now you're coming back trying to deal with the issues you have, process the problems, you know, and there's no support system that you really have. So if we could bring something like that here to bring the veterans in together, where you can, because I've always said that there's kind of a healing in the suffering. You know what I mean? Like, if this guy going through something that's probably different than what I'm going through, but if I can tell you, hey, this is what I've done, I've had this, I've been down on the ground, I've lost all this stuff, you know what I mean? And somebody sitting there and having the same problem, it's like, wow, you know, I'm doing the same thing, I'm not as vocal about it, but if this guy's doing it, he's doing okay. If this guy's doing it, maybe I'm not that, you know, an odd duck. You know, maybe I can be okay. So I think that there is a lot of healing aspects in just the camaraderie element that we do have in here. So we started this thing up. We opened the doors, Veterans Day 2010. We did a big ceremony here. Once we got in here, I started making phone calls and contacts out to the county VA and to anybody that listened, any type of charitable organizations here, because it's ran on donations. We don't have any funding here. So I started calling everybody to try to find funding, and we got a hold of Bill Mosley, and he started donating a lot of money to us in time and resources. We had an EDD rep in here for a little while, and we've got direct access to the county director, of Veteran Affairs. So if anybody comes in with a specific problem that is kind of, because I mean the diverse problems that you have being veterans is, you know, it's extensive, and every person that comes in here might have something that you've never dealt with before. So having a contact like that to somebody that actually knows can give you an answer, or at least you can forward them an email from this person and they get them back to them, then that helps tremendously. And that's kind of where we've been starting, and that's what, you know, that's where I got involved with it anyways. And I was here for the first semester, and I've been in here, I mean, I'm in here all the time, and I know a little bit about how the system works, and I try to help out as much as I can through volunteer hours now.
Okay. So, with that said, now that the resource is here, the VRC is here, and we just talked about the resources that the VRC offers, like the camaraderie and access to direct county to the county Veteran Affairs Office. What do you love about Chafee?
I like a lot of the instructors that I've had at the school have been really inspirational to me. It's the very first semester I was here, I took a humanities class, and it was a humanities 20 class, and it really changed my whole perspective. And it's on the Holocaust. Not that I knew everything about the Holocaust, you know. And then I go in this class, you start watching the videos, you really dive into it, and the instructors were just very caring, very open to me. Because I mean, I had this vision of what humanity was, and it wasn't a very good look, you know, like when you get through combat and you've been through the things you see, that you just like, you question everything. You question whether you believe in God anymore. You question whether you believe in this country, with this government anymore, you know, and that's where I was at. And they started teaching us all this stuff about, you know, the humanity and all this stuff, and I started questioning about it. I'm like, I don't believe that, you know. I mean, I think humans are basically instinctually mean people, you know. It's just, if you look throughout history, that's what the trend looked like to me. And talking to them over and over again, there was 2 professors in that class that really sat down with me and really worked with me, and I read a whole bunch of books in it, and I took that class with honors. And she actually asked me the next semester to come back and teach a class, because I did a bunch of research on Japanese war crimes, World War II, and their, you know, genocide against, you know, the Chinese and stuff like that. And asked me to come back and teach that class, and I came back and taught that class, so it really inspired me. And then I just started getting involved with the instructors and talking to them more, and, you know, everyone that I've ever came into contact with has just been open and honest and very, you know, easy to access. So it's been, in that aspect, it's been great.
Awesome. And would you, it says remember to get them to say thank you. I'm not sure what that means, but would you want to, or are you thankful for anything here at Chafee that Chafee's done for you?
Yeah, I mean, Chafee has definitely opened a lot of doors for me, for sure. Like I said, with the Veteran Resource Center and having this thing that I can open up contacts to the county VA and get answers to questions and help other veterans out and stuff like that has been huge for me. I mean, like I said, I came back and started doing all the research and looking at the homeless and the suicide rates and all this stuff, and it really affected me. Like, I was very disgruntled, very upset about it. And then allowing me to, you know, make those contacts and network with the people that I've been able to network with instead of the meetings that I've been able to sit in has been, you know, I wouldn't be able to get that anywhere else but here, I don't think.
Awesome. All right.